All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin. And today we had some pretty volatile price action with the FOMC meeting. So let's dive into today's price action. Yesterday, when I left off on the video, we had been kind of slow grinding up here during the night, and I cautioned that we're probably just going to have a slow grind until the FOMC meeting started. Maybe I talked about in the video to come up to back test this value area high here. We might see a rejection from the back test, another bearish back test of the value area high. Looks like we did grind up here, and we did get that back test of the value area high overnight, and we did reject from that value area high. So if I zoom in onto the 15-minute chart, let's look at this 15-minute chart here. Slow grinded up overnight, back tested the value area high, had a rejection from that value area high down to our VWAP. Our VWAP did bounce us, and then we rejected from the pitchfork band here, and we were kind of just slow grinding down all day and kind of moving sideways here until our FOMC meeting was getting close. And about this candle here was about 15-20 minutes before our FOMC meeting, 30 minutes before, and we started pumping pre-FOMC meeting just a bit here. Right when the FOMC meeting started, we pumped into our value area high again, but the FOMC meeting, Powell announced that there was going to be a continued pause. So no rate hikes, no rate cuts, just a continued pause. They were going to keep the federal funds rate the same as where it was. And we saw that rejection from the value area high, and we got a pretty quick flush to the downside here. Now, on that flush to the downside, we did take the liquidity of these lows here. You can see we did a quick liquidity grab of these lows from earlier in the day, and then we got a huge pump to the upside. And this was a pretty big volume candle. If we turn on our volume here, you can see how high the volume in this candle was here. We busted finally through that value area high. We busted up to the anchored VWAP, where, remember, we had our high from a couple days ago that we front ran that anchored VWAP. So we SFP'd the high from a couple days ago. Oop, not there. We SFP'd our high into our anchored VWAP, and then we saw a drop to back test the value area high. Now, when we back tested that value area high, it flipped now to support. It held as support, and we continued pumping higher here. But what was concerning here is we stopped our pump right before our key resistance. Remember, the last couple days I've been talking about two key resistances on the chart. And our first key resistance is this golden pocket, which is also in confluence with this range point of control here. It's also a naked weekly point of control and a naked daily point of control right around there. So this is a very strong confluence of resistance that's right above us. And when we did pump this FOMC pump that we saw here, you can see we did not hit the actual level, and we also did not hit the POC that's right above the 618. So we front ran this level, which is a bit concerning here. To me, that means we might come back down, back test this value area high, back test this band as support on a higher time frame back test, and maybe we can come up here and make one more high, SFP this intraday high here into this resistance, and then see a dump. Now, it does look pretty good, though, on the volume with this pump here. This could have been an impulse of a third wave, so like a 1, 2, 3, third wave impulse, a fourth wave correction here, and then a fifth wave into our golden pocket point of control, and then we might see a bigger dump to the downside. So this is looking a little bit like we might come up one more time. If we lose this value area high again, I think that this could be over, because I'm going to go on to a different chart here. I'm going to go on to Bybit's chart where it's a bit cleaner, and let's look at this here. Now, speaking of front runs, we did front run this golden pocket and this point of control down here as well. So we could top out where we're at now and front run the next golden pocket and point of control and just dump from here. That is a possibility. We do have a sort of channel that we're trading in right now. So if we take it from the lows to the next higher low here and we bring it up to our first highs, you can see that this channel that we're trading in here is pretty nicely respected. You can see the midline's been respected here, midline rejection here. We tried to get above the midline there, but we really couldn't sustain an hourly candle above it, a couple hour candles above it, and now we're starting to dump and correct here. Of course, Bybit's value area high on the big range is a bit different than Coinbase's. Let's pull Bybits again. We'll go from the most recent price action here. Let's make sure, is that, no, that's our middle range. We can go all the way to here. And let's check this out. So you guys can see we're pretty much right at this value area high here. Now let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. All right. So we front ran our key golden pocket. We came back. We're coming back down, back testing that value area high. We tried to get a pump back up, but we rejected from the midline of the channel. And now we're coming back down to it again. If we chop around here for a little while, guys, around this value area high, and then we lose it again, we could end up breaking this whole ascending channel to the downside, and we could come for these lows here. So that's something I'm still watching for. Now, that increase in volume that we saw does kind of throw a wrench into, usually in an ascending channel like this, you want to see your overall volume decreasing as the channel is forming upwards. That's more corrective price action. And then you'll break the channel with an increase of volume to the downside. But this push up, now this was a news push, so it is still volume that came in though. And we could disregard it because it's news, but I don't like to do that, even though it was news based and it was a it was a very important FOMC meeting because it was the first FOMC meeting with Trump as the new president, and of course that does matter. All right, so right now we're flirting around still. I know this is the third video in a row where I've talked about us flirting around with this value area high here of this big range since November 11th, but we still are, and we still haven't had a clear decision on whether we're going to reject it here or we're going to continue to drop and make new lows and come into this support here. Let me go back to the Coinbase chart, and I'm going to look at the updated value area high on the Coinbase chart. All right, so let's do this here. Let's pull this to current price action. Yeah, so it raised just a little bit with the pump here. Let's throw this where it's supposed to be at. Now, I do like where this is at now because it is also in confluence with that band that we're seeing, the pitchfork band, the back test of that pitchfork band. All right. So right now, Bybit's value area high is about where we're at right now. With this candle, kind of these candles at 103.5, and Coinbase is about 103 now. So Bybits did raise a little bit. We also have the value area low of this range right about the value area high of the much bigger range. So what's going to be key then? This range, value area low, we're really, right now we are trading back within the accepted fair value of this range. But if we do come down and back test the bigger value area high and continue, then we can expect to come at least to the POC of this range, which is our golden pocket and resistance just above us that was front run. We could even come to the value area high, which is also our 786s up there. This same Fibonacci pull from the all-time high to these lows here, we have our 786, which is around this value area high here. And if we do lose it, then we would be losing our fair value within this range here, this 9-day range that we were in here. We would also be confirming acceptance back within the fair value of the much bigger range, and then we could see a move down to our point of control, which is down here in our golden pocket area. And this, so our two major levels really to be watching are this golden pocket with this point of control, and this golden pocket with the big November 11th point of control in there. And now you can see, because some time has passed, if we do come down here at the bottom of our pitchfork, will also be in pretty nice alignment there. And the bottom of pitchforks in alignment with major support levels like this are really, really nice to see. So let's just keep an eye out on what's going to happen in the next few hours here. If we're going to bounce here, we can continue to come up here. If I zoom in on the price action, and I'm talking about that sort of impulse that we saw here, we could look at this as, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a mini 5 there. I don't see much structure in here though. So, hmm. What I was looking at was this here from this ending here. This is a one wave. This is our two wave, our third wave with the big most volume in it, which it did have. We're in our fourth wave correction here, and then we could see a fifth wave up to this area here. Just a mini impulse here after this correction that we saw to the downside. And if that's the case, then yes, we could end our fifth wave up here. It'd be like a truncated fifth wave. We'd end it in this resistance here, or we could push up to that value area high, and then we see a bigger correction. But I do not like this ascending channel here, this price action in this ascending channel here. To me, it just feels like this thing is wanting to break down overall. And so we just need to keep watching. Did this change on me? Let's go to the 4-hour chart. All right, so looks like trading views being a bit wacky. On the 4-hour, it's showing our value area high where we're at now. But if I zoom in and use the same range, let's go to the 1-hour. All right, 1 hour is still the same. Okay, so if we lose kind of the area we're at now, we could see a drop at least to the bottom of our channel. And if we do a Fibonacci pull, let me zoom in onto the 15-minute chart. And let's just do a Fibonacci pull from the lows of today, which were right before that FOMC meeting, to the highs. All right, so depending on if trading view is going to be buggy or not, our golden pocket is around the value area high retest on the 15-minute chart anyways, which is also around the bottom of the channel here. That 786 JC pocket area, what I like to call. So 786 golden pocket area. This is our local support area to be watching for a bounce. You can see we did reject from this midline here. And if this area does not hold and we start to break this channel to the downside, we could run all the liquidity. Also, we do have to remember, if we take a Fibonacci pull from the lows to these highs that were made yesterday, we did front run that golden pocket here. And this golden pocket was never hit. So it seems like recently we have been front running a lot of golden pockets. And golden pocket usually is a really critical level that usually gets hit. Front run it on the big push down here, front runned it here, and then we just front run it here on the push up. So we just need to keep watching to see. Eventually these golden pockets are going to start getting hit again, like at least hopefully, right? But this channel is important to me. If we start to lose this channel, I do expect us to come at least to this golden pocket here, if not take the lows into the big support level down here. We did have those bearish divergences, and we are also seeing bearish divergences within here. You can see from this high here, lower highs in the momentum waves here with money flow curving down, coming out aggressively. So higher high in price action, lower high in the momentum waves, money flow coming down, bearish div here. Let's go on to the 1-hour chart. All right, so no bear divs on the 1 hour. Money flow is starting to roll over though, and our momentum wave is topping out here. Let's look on the 4-hour chart. All right, nothing really for the 4 hours. So because we have bear divs on like 15-minute and under, let's check the 12-minute chart. Yeah, we do have bear divs on the 12-minute chart as well. Because we do have bear divs on the lower time frames, but not on the higher time frames, what that tells me is that we might make a push down into this support level here and then see that one last move up to actually hit our 105.2-ish resistance, 105.1 to 105.3. And so that would be nice to see. That could also end this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then we could see us finally break down and come for this low down here. This point of control is here. The naked daily point of control we have here as well. We do have our point of, pitchfork midline. I don't know if the pitchfork midline is still going to be in alignment with that. Let's check that out. That was that bearish pitchfork. So no, not so much anymore, but we do have the band of the pitchfork around there. And let's actually hide this channel now. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here. Let's clean this up and let's look at this pitchfork. All right, so if we do let me zoom out on this. If we just look at this kind of rising channel that we're in now, we could also do a Fibonacci pull from the lows to the new highs that were just created today. Okay, this is kind of nice to see. We do have this liquidity grab of yesterday's low within our golden pocket. So anytime you see a liquidity grab into a golden pocket, that's very nice. 100,187, 100.2-ish. That could be a nice liquidity grab into our golden pocket, take the liquidity of this low, then continue higher. We also do need to keep in mind that we could just be forming a bigger range now. How this was like a 9-day range up here, we could be forming a sort of range in between here, like something like this here over the next few days. A kind of smaller range on the lows of this range here. So there's a couple levels to look at there. Now, if we did come down here, we would be breaking that ascending channel. I talk about this oftentimes. Anytime you have an ascending channel like that and you break the channel, you do generally see us come for the second pivot of that channel and sweep the liquidity of the second pivot. So that would make sense. If we break this channel, we should come down here, sweep the liquidity into our golden pocket, and then we could see another move up, even if it's a move to make a lower high, and then we can continue down to come to the big level down here. This pitchfork, I mean, it's still somewhat relevant, but I don't like it as much as I did before now. So it's getting too bearish here to the downside. All right, so this is our local price action. We can also start to look at this as a bigger range now. So we could do our pull really over here like this. And yeah, you can see that this range is still pretty close to what we're seeing. Our value area low as being respected in this range, and same with our value area high here. Point of control is still being respected, dropped. Actually, I do like this range a lot because you can see that once we reclaimed the value area low, we held it, came back down to it earlier today, and then we're still front running our point of control here, which this point of control in the golden pocket is really what we want to see hit, an actual hit of it to test that. Let's go to our liquidity heat map and let's check this out. So we did, yesterday I talked about this, we did have the majority of our liquidity that was resting right above the highs from yesterday's high. These highs here were rejected from the local golden pocket. And so we came above that and we took that liquidity today. So all that liquidity has been taken. And now you can see the majority of the local liquidity is below us, is below the lows that we made during the FOMC lows, that swing failure pattern. And then, of course, we also have our lows down here in this 97K area, which is our big point of control and our big golden pocket down here, 97 to 96.4-ish. Coinbase is 96.2 is the end of the golden pocket. So this area down here has a lot of liquidity resting down below it. Let's also check out, and then yes, our lows down here. Let's go to our Model 2 map. Yeah, look at how much liquidity is below us now. We took all the liquidity that was above us from the highs that we made into that anchor VWAP and local golden pocket. I'm talking about these highs here. If we did the Fibonacci pull from this high to this low, which was our last major hourly swing high to low, yesterday we had come into that golden pocket. Our anchored VWAP was also there. That's where we saw the rejection. We now had liquidity resting above these highs from all the people that shorted this, and we took out that liquidity today on this move up on the FOMC meeting. Now the majority of our liquidity is below us. It's going to be below, let's check that out again. I think it's just below our local area. 101, okay, 101 to 100.9, which is below these lows here. Actually, that's really nice. So if we came down and swept this liquidity down here, that's where the majority of our liquidity is, in this golden pocket and the second pivot of the channel, the SFP of that. So this is going to be almost a magnet for us now too. Very, very locally, of course, we still have our golden pocket into the support of the channel. If that holds, I do think we'll come up to our point of control first. If that doesn't hold, we're coming down here at least to this level, if not to our 97K major support level. Other than that, I mean, Bitcoin, these front runs are getting pretty annoying here. Front run here, front run here, front run up here on golden pockets. Maybe we should be trading like the 0.56 instead of the 0.65. I'm just kidding though. All right. Now going to our liquidity here. Let's refresh this real quick and let's take a look at this liquidity, because I do see some things. Now, you guys, I do use aggregated open interest because I like to know what all the exchanges are doing, not just one exchange. So if you're just using Bybit's open interest, this might look a little bit different. But from the lows that we made earlier today on the FOMC dump before the pump, you can see that our CVD is going down. So people have been shorting the market, except for this last little push up here. We had a lot of late longers that were longing. We can tell they were longs because our CVD was increasing. That means market longing. And our open interest was increasing during that time too. So those was fresh longs coming in towards the top. Now, I do understand that because we just back tested our value area high and we were holding it and flipping it to support. So I can understand if you want to take that as a scalp. If you think we're going to come up to 105, I would even trade that as an acceptable scalp position. Put your stop below this low here, and then, take profit at 105, even though we front ran that. But you can see from this area here, we've had in this kind of channel that we been seeing down here, we have a lot of shorts coming in here. Our open interest overall is increasing during this. So that's new position that's getting absorbed. Anytime we see a higher low in the price action here, we're seeing an overall lower low in our CVD. That means people are shorting the market, but we're making a higher low in price action and our open interest is increasing. So those are new positions. And what that means is there's some whales in this area that are absorbing all these market shorters. All these market shorters have been shorting in here. They are not successfully able to push the price down. And so we might have a whale that's in here absorbing all these market shorts to make another push up, maybe to that 105 level, maybe to the value area high, which is much higher at 107-ish. So we got to be watching this local bullish CVD. This bullish CVD could play out, and that bullish CVD was between this low here and the higher low that we're seeing now. What that tells me is that this golden pocket at the base of the ascending channel could hold. So if I zoom into the 12-minute and we look at this golden pocket that's coming up here, if we do a golden pocket pull from high to low here, and it's really 786, more of a 786 area. But if we look at this area down here, we could even come down to here, still maintain our bullish divs, and then we could see that push up into that 105 area, completing, because the target for the bullish CVD would be these highs here. So anytime you see local bullish CVD between here and here, the target for that CVD, a take profit area, is these highs. And what would be nice to take those highs, to SFP those highs into our actual resistance and then see a dump. It's a really valid trade setup to be looking at. So that's one of the trade setups I'm watching locally here. Hopefully it doesn't happen overnight. Bounce from this area. I would want to, if we come down to this area, what I would want to be seeing is I would want to go into like my 5-minute chart, my 15-minute chart, and I would want to be seeing as the price action is kind of crashing down here and making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, or lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We'd want to be seeing our bullish CVD. So we want to be seeing our momentum indicator or oscillator be making higher lows, and then we would want to see lower lows on the price action on lower time frames, because obviously we don't have enough time on the bigger time frames to get a higher time frame div there. So we're going to be watching the lower time frames for low divs coming into this area here, 100, 102, 102.1-ish, and look for that. All right, so very, very locally, we were looking earlier today in the Discord, right when we rejected from this level and we got the front run, we were looking at a 1 minute channel, just really trying to dissect the price action that was happening here. Let me get rid of this now. And we were looking at this channel here. If you go do this here, we bring it to these lows here. We were looking at this channel here. We're chopping down into this channel, and we hit into the bottom of the channel, rejected from the top of the channel. Finally, we're able to hold the midline a couple times, broke out of it, but we broke out of it. And let's see, I think that was our local golden, if I'm remembering right, that was our local golden pocket rejection. Yeah, it was our local golden pocket rejection here. We came up to our golden pocket, rejected that golden pocket on the 1 minute, and now we're decreasing and dropping down again. You can see we are kind of trying to bullishly backtest that channel after breaking out of it, and we might be pumping. But what we can do now, because this is such a micro trend, once you break a micro trend like this, you really, get rid of it. It's done. The trend is over. It was a micro trend we were following. Now what we can do though is we can look at another micro trend. So I'll go to the 3 minute chart, and this still does look channely to me. So, but we're going to repull a channel, and we're going to look at the two higher lows here. We're going to bring it down to our lows here, and we're just going to look at this channel here. I don't really like it. The midline's not respected too well here. Not too much confluence for me to see in this here. All right, yeah, not much there. Just looking at the micro trend, but it's not too good. We do have the first time we rejected from the value area high earlier today, and we saw that drop down. We have liquidity that's resting down here. This is liquidity that was right where our VWAP close is, and right next to our golden pocket. So once again, this JC, what we call the JC pocket, or I call it the JC pocket because Jason Casper kind of made it famous. That area there is our first local support area. And of course, we'd be grabbing local liquidity into that area. I do like the 786 in the bottom of the channel better than the actual SFP into the golden pocket, but we can play this as kind of one zone and watch this. If we do bounce from this box here, we'd be looking for our target of 105. That 105 would be a take profit level for me. I'd play it as a scalp. All right, other than that, not too much going on. We still are seeing bullish CVD absorption overall. Now, there has been you guys, the last few times we've looked at bullish CVD absorption, we did see eventual decrease in open interest, which invalidated our bullish CVD. We saw that last week. And so with our CVD now declining like this, if it decreases too much more, we might look for another invalidation here. But right now, we still do have bullish CVD absorption. Higher lows in the price action here, lower lows in the CVD, open interest increasing from the lows there. And so we might expect a higher low to come in to push up to 105K. All right, that's about it for Bitcoin. Let me think. Am I forgetting here? Oh, yes. Yesterday, you guys, I want to apologize because I was showing you the coinalyze.net, and I was showing you guys that we were maybe seeing bearish CVD absorption. I didn't realize that I had changed it to Solana because right before the video, I was looking at Solana to look at its absorption. And so I was showing you the wrong chart. So thank you to the person who pointed that out to me on Discord. You know who you are. And I'm sorry that I showed you that. If I caused any confusion with that, I apologize for that. All right, guys. I will make another video later tonight on some of the altcoins. We had some really explosive movements. I mean, Solana right now is dumping pretty hard, or it was dumping pretty hard. And real quick, I'll go into Solana real quick here because we've been holding this bigger channel. So let me clean this up real quick. This big pink ascending channel here, we were kind of chopping around the bottom of it all day waiting for FOMC. We got the quick flush down to take the liquidity of these two semi-equal lows right when Bitcoin crashed from its value area high, right when FOMC first was announced. And then we pumped up to our local golden pocket. And so our local golden pocket was from, now we got to remember this golden pocket was from high to low of the channel here, before we made this low. So I wasn't looking at that low because that low wasn't made before this golden pocket was made. But you can see we had a golden pocket right in confluence with the midline of our channel, hit right into that, and then we dropped straight to the bottom of the channel. But we also just dropped to our point of control that we were seeing. So if I zoom out here and we look at just this range of kind of the channel's price action in here, we can pull a fixed range volume profile. You can see that it was our point of control that we're bouncing from, which was right around the bottom of the channel. I actually think right before the video started, I took along there. Just based off, and we were also seeing like maybe a third wave of a 5-wave impulse. So now this is just a scalp. I actually plan to close it or close most of it at this pitchfork midline here in red. Yes. So, all right. So Solana though, Solana is looking, if I zoom out here, I mean, we still are trading. I have 2 channels on the chart. So I have that smaller channel here of just the last few days of price action. I know this chart looks messy. Hang in there. So let me hide this ascending channel that I just showed you guys on lower time frames. And we still do have this bigger descending channel that we're in on the 4-hour chart. And we're just chopping around it. Now, I have this low highlighted because earlier today, it would have been a nice swing failure pattern into our midline. Now it's decreasing pretty fast. So our midline is around this area here, which is our 217. It's our big point of control. We do have a skiff pitchfork midline there, and our golden pocket is here as well. We would also take the liquidity from this low here. But right now, this is our sideways range we're trading, just this bottom kind of price action. Towards the top of the channel, around 247, we do have our local golden pocket, high to low from this just last little push down on the 4-hour, and our naked weekly point of controls there. But I do like this area better between 252 and 256 is we have a weekly there. We have a naked daily point of control and a daily up here. And then also probably the point of control of this range here. Yeah, point of control of that range as well. You can see that this past range here, just like Bitcoin, the value area low, we really haven't been able to concretely get above that value area low there. So this part here was, if we look at that as our value area low, just like with Bitcoin, we're trying to break back into its 9-day range value area low. This range here, you can see we keep trying to break back into that value area low. Now we did earlier today. Bitcoin's been a bit more bullish than Solana here. So, but we rejected from it here yesterday, drop back down. Solana still hasn't been able to get back within this value area low here, and we are consolidating down here, which makes me think we might see a push down into this golden pocket. This pitchfork midline, we've been chopping around it. It's a much, much bigger pitchfork midline that's highly respected on larger time frames. So we'll have to kind of see if we reject here. Actually, yes. Coming up there right now. So, all right, I'm going to get rid of that. And that's it for Solana. Our bigger support below us down here, 217 to like 213-ish here. 2 resistances above that I'm interested in are naked weekly point of control into our local golden pocket. Local golden pocket at 247. And then 252 to 256 is a kind of box of resistance that I like up here as well. We have multiple confluences up there. Weekly, daily, naked point of control. All right, guys. I'll do another video later on some other alts, but this is it for now. Have a good day. I hope this helps.